Hey everybody, quickly I'm going to show you this particular symbol here and we're going to crack it real quick. It's an old alchemical symbol. If you're not familiar with the geometry, you probably wouldn't be aware of even what it is at all. But it has to do with the universe, has to do with geometry of it, and how it's similar to man and so forth. Kind of the things I've been showing you so far. And so I've been following the lead of Leonardo da Vinci and what he showed me with this whole squaring the circle thing. And so there's another way to square the circle where the square is actually a little bit smaller and it's probably the one that you have seen a lot. Keep this in your memory. This is going to get cracked here in the next few minutes. Okay. Now in these particular images you see that the square is smaller relative to the circle, and what this allows people to do is, put the moon that you see right here. It cuts the moon in half and allows it to roll around the earth that you see. The way they've got the pyramid placed, you can see that the pyramid is bound by this box because the squared circle is giving that to the pyramid. But I'm going to show you a different way today to do it that I think is the original way. Like, see, this right here is, I don't believe this is the original way to do it. I'll show you when we get into Metatron's cube, because what it's actually going to help us do also is at the same time we're doing this, we're going to build the universe, we're going to see how it expands, we're going to get an idea of what the Egyptians were trying to show us the pyramid, we're going to do some calculations and ratios on just the moon and the earth. We're going to see the correlation really quickly between that and what we see as far as man and his relationship to this temple or the pyramid that we see. So all of these things, and I'm going to be able to show them to you really quickly because I've already got everything created. I'm just going to pop them on and off. So here we go. So let me get over here. Now I have started using, this is me, and you probably would wonder where I'm standing right here. Well, I'm 2 pixels high right here, and I'm actually standing inside the King's Chamber of the Great Pyramid. And thanks to vector graphics and me starting using them recently, I've realized that I've had to get a lot more accurate with a lot larger images and a lot finer lines. And so I'm trying to show you that the accuracy that was used here, it was meticulous. Okay, so remember, we got to crack that symbol and we got to see what this pyramid thing is all about and this whole squaring the circle thing. Joe Dubs, you guys are probably familiar with him. He does a lot of this geometry. Came by and visited me the other night on Facebook, and I went and took a look at some of his stuff. And there are 2 different ways to do this. So I think he'll be interested in seeing that you can also find this other way that he uses to square the circle, which is the most common way that you'll see, is also found in Metatron's cube. So it doesn't require this really complex stuff, and I think Metatron's cube acts as a master key and provides us a lot of information. I think we're going to see that here in just a second. So let's turn on our universe, and here it is. This is Metatron's cube, and if we back out, we take a look at this as the whole universe. Okay. And this little small star that we see right here is us, and the large star that we see is the universe, just like I was saying. And so if we zoom in, we'll notice something interesting about this. I use really fine lines, so my accuracy is really there. Right in the very center of this whole graphic or drawing, you see the base of the pyramid. Okay. Now what I did differently than what you see right here in these graphics is I actually use the pyramid as a hat and I let it sit on top of the globe, because this is the starting point and this is what it wants. So we're going to take a look here. This is world 1. I call it world 1. So if you'll notice here, the blue circle is still inside the casing stones. That was something I noticed that when I experimented with this stuff before that I saw from Leonardo da Vinci. Now this circle is the initial circle right in the center of Metatron's cube. It was already provided for us. I'm just highlighting it for you to show it to you. The second thing that we have is the bounding box that we saw in the alchemical drawing, right? And that bounding box is also already provided to us because we have a line moving across here and we have a line moving across the base of this circle. So we turn our box on, there it is right there. So it's already provided for us. Okay. Now, we have this whole idea about the Earth-Moon ratio thing, right? And so if we turn on the moon outline, which is right here, and I'll do some calculations for you real quick. So this right here, this circle, is 199 pixels wide, and the moon is 54 pixels wide. So let's do some calculations real quick. Anybody that's done any of this knows that the moon is approximately a little over 27% the size of the Earth. Okay, so the moon was 54 pixels, and the Earth outline was 199 divided by 199 times 100, and that's our percentage. And our percentage is 27.13. As you can see, it is right on the money. And if we zoom in, we'll notice that the moon sits flush on top of the box and flush right against the capstone. The different way of doing this is the 3, 4, 5 triangle is already built in with Metatron's cube, and the pyramid is actually kind of serving to be that guide. But we're making better use of the area here, and because we're using the pyramid this way and we're using it as a hat to sit on top of the globe like this. And I'm going to go ahead and show you real quick. Here's our moon and our Earth in here like this. Show you. And then also, what I wanted to show you here real quick was the relationship. Now you remember you saw those two people standing in the world, right? Okay, so here is Vitruvian Man. And I think Leonardo da Vinci may have been just a little bit more clever than we would believe, because what you might notice about him is, if I turn off the, well, if you notice, the box that surrounds him is the same as this blue box that you see right here. And also, if you notice the relationship between the moon and the Earth, you have him as the whole size of the Earth, with the moon on top of his head, and then you have this extra where the capstone is. And some people have probably seen that somewhere before, but now you can actually see it in the temple as well, because you can see that the very bottom part of this temple refers to the starting point, the private areas. The belly button here is the Queen's Chamber. As you can see, the King's Chamber is right on the heart, and it's telling you to move up. Remember what moving up means. Moving up means moving up to the next bounding box, which is what we're going to do next. Now I want to point out, isn't it funny that in the starting position that Vitruvian Man is in, that he's standing inside the globe and he's holding the box up, which is the very starting point. He's actually showing part of this alchemical symbolism that we see. I think he was a little bit more clever than we give him credit for on this. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this off and this off. And since we're using the pyramid, I might as well turn him off too. Since we're using the pyramid's corners right here, we can already build 2 more squared circles like this. The corners of the pyramid touch the next circle, which sits on the bounding box, which cuts through the middle of the moon. And here's something else for Joe Dubs in case he's interested. This particular squared circle right here, the corners rest on the hexagon. All 4 corners do, inside what we see as Metatron's cube. And we'll see that as we're building this thing, we're given little pieces and bits here and there to keep building more and more. So at first we had the initial circle, then they had the bounding box, okay, and then the moon fit right in there perfectly, same percentages and everything. And then of course the corners built the next circle, and the next bounding box cut through the moon, fits right inside inside Metatron's cube. And then we have another one, and this one we have drawn around this hexagon right here that you see. And the box passes right above the top here of the pyramid, so we're getting all of these things consistently given to us. Also, if you'll notice, this box right here touches the corners that I already showed you. So Metatron's cube is giving us a lot of the information that we need to see. Now, if we back out even more on this, this is what it looks like. And you can see that even with the calculations down to the percentages and everything, it was extremely accurate. So now, let's take a look at our alchemical drawing here real quick, and I'll show you what they were showing us. And here's what they were showing us right here. And so what we're going to do is turn off a few of those squared circles. And what you'll notice is all of these things fit inside the boundary of this large triangle right here. And these 3 points would make up the trinity of the very largest part. So what I'm saying is that these ancients that believed the whole idea about the earth being the center of the universe, this wasn't something that modern science could even understand right now, because they're in a whole different other world. But these ancients, they knew what was going on. They had calculated all kinds of things. So let's take a look at this real quick. I'm going to turn a few things off. What you're going to see is that this particular symbol with the triangle that you see right now is actually already inside Metatron's cube also. And there it is. And that's what they were trying to show us. And if we turn on Metatron's cube, turn on the test real quick, we can see he's standing right in the globe, planet Earth, the moon above his head, and that is what this alchemical symbol is all about. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed some of that geometry, and I'll post some images on Facebook later. You guys have a great night, and I'll talk to you soon.